Hello astrology lovers. In this video, I will talk on understanding Marilyn Monroe using ancient astrology. I thought of speaking about her as she was a popular person and majority of people that understand astrology judge a person only through Lagna rising sign and Rashi despite knowing that every sign has 3 nakshatras. So let's study her birth details. Birth date and day 1st June 1926 Tuesday. Birth time 9:30 hours rectified to 9 hours 31 minutes 20 seconds by me. Place of birth Los Angeles, California, USA. Time zone and name 8 West Pacific Standard Time. Latitude and longitude 34-03-08 north, 118-14-34 west. Geocentric latitude 33 degrees 52-26.03 north. Nakshatra Dhanishta, first quarter. Tithi Krishna Paksha, Shashti. Ayan Khular hourly 22-49-07. And birth data collector Rodin for Astro Data Bank. On the screen is Marilyn Monroe's Rashi chart, Bhav chart, planetary position table, cuspal position table. Date of birth 1st June 1926. Time mentioned is 9 hours 31 minutes 20 seconds. Longitude and latitude is mentioned. I had made 3 videos on her and their links are mentioned in the description box. So if you have not watched those, then I suggest you to watch them. From it you will get to know how I got this birth time. Marilyn Monroe's rising lagna is Cancer and rising nakshatra is Ashlesh, because Cancer has Ashlesh nakshatra, that's the last nakshatra of Cancer, and the degree is 20-27-55. Lord of Ashlesh is Mercury. This happens to be the most dangerous nakshatra. Ashlesh is battleground where war between intellect and emotions, conscious and subconscious takes place. Its turbulent energies make it very susceptible to self-indulgence and decadence, and they take wrong path too. As it is the second charan, it falls in Capricorn Navamsha, ruled by Saturn. This charan is mostly involved in dealing with people. It is a highly ambitious charan which is usually liable to use all of Ashlesh's negative traits like deceit and trickery to get what it wants. An inability to let go of possessions is another unique aspect of this charan. This is a nakshatra of a snake. The deity which belongs to Ashlesh is Sarpas, the snake that became a god. A snake holds traits such as calculativeness, caution, cold-bloodedness, cunningness, stealth, williness, and such traits can be noticed in Marilyn Monroe. Ashlesh is also associated with intrigues. Mercury, which is Lord of Ashlesh, is positioned in 10th cusp. And 10th cusp is connected to kriya or action or popularity. This can cause her to be deceptive, devious, evasive, and crave to have attention. This attribute made her join film industry, as it helps a person to get attention and is full of intrigues. Film industry helps a person to explore different characters, costumes, cities, and cultures. Ashlesh is a term normally associated with serpent imagery and can be translated as coiling, clinging, embracing, or entwining. Whoever that has watched videos of Marilyn Monroe while singing surely knows her snake like maneuvers. Just like a snake, they too can be sinful and ungrateful. Ashlesh, like Bharini, is a sensual nakshatra and has a lot to do with intense sensuality. Due to this, she had plenty of fans and followers, and you may know that majority of men follow those women that are high on sensual appeal. As this nakshatra is connected to snake, and we know that a snake changes its skin, such people dislike being the same person throughout their life and prefer to have constant positive changes. They connect change with development and growth. That's the reason Marilyn Monroe constantly transformed herself and was a versatile person. She did modeling, singing, acting, and even turned her hair blonde, something that was not very common during her era. Ashlesh is associated with controversies, hypnotism, sensuality. They can be conscious of how they move and how their movement arouses passion or sensual passion in others. They are adept at putting up socially acceptable and amiable fronts. They use courtesy as a tool to flatter others. This good humor does not last for long once their objective is achieved. They immediately become cold and ruthless. They are always scheming and plotting when it comes to climbing social ladder. Since they often work from very superficial levels, their chameleon like quality and deception gets evident to anyone that has an above average level of perceptiveness. Ashlesh element in a person can be easily spotted through their constant suspicion and mistrust prevalent in background. Worry and caution follow them relentlessly. All these seem to describe Marilyn Monroe well. She almost hypnotized her audience, especially the male part of it, with her sensual charisma, and lived a controversial life, especially due to her relationship with some powerful men like late ex-President John F. Kennedy. It is predominance of Ashlesh energy that makes society a cradle to fear and suspicion. Ashlesh is about lock your doors and mistrust your neighbor. It is due to this inherent trait that Ashlesh people tend to remain hidden in regards to their true thoughts and feelings. Due to this, they can have confusions. They do not even form intimate bonds with others and will mistrust the most closest, confident, and families, and such traits were found in Marilyn Monroe. As we know that snakes are nocturnal animals and are active during night and inactive during daytime, people that have too much influence of Ashlesh are night owls. They are more comfortable during night than during daytime. Just like a snake eats anything, similarly, too much influence of this nakshatra can cause a person to eat anything and even have natural liking for alcohol and drugs. You may know that Marilyn Monroe used to take drugs to divert her mind from her personal problems. Ashlesh people enjoy business activities that border on crooking. They are greedy and prefer to not employ straight methods in business and want some type of cheating or deception to be involved to gain more. They find it humorous in tricking others. They like mental games and strategies. They delight in hoodwinking others. They are highly selfish and use energy of Mercury such as alacrity, perceptiveness to deal with others. Due to such traits, Marilyn Monroe was able to attain fame and fortune at a very young age. In universal scheme of things, Ashlesh relates to Visashleshna Shakti, that means power to inflict poison. Its symbolism has an approaching serpent above and trembling below. This relates to Ashlesh with sharp, venomous attacks made at one's enemy or prey. Due to such traits, none of her relationship lasted long. Thus, you would not have been able to understand her deeply simply seeing at her Lagna being in the sign of Cancer. After studying Lagna star, we move to Moon star and Lagna subsublord Jupiter. So here Moon star, Moon is in the Rashi of Capricorn and Jupiter in Aquarius. So here both these planets are in the star of Dhanishta Nakshatra, and Lord of Dhanishta is Mars. So Moon and Jupiter both in the star of Mars. Lagna subsublord Jupiter, though a Sattvic planet, still made her behave this way as Jupiter position in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Jupiter is an important planet as Jupiter is subsublord of Lagna, and Rahu and Ketu both represent Jupiter. Rahu is in the star of Jupiter and Ketu is in the Rashi of Jupiter. Thus, wherever Rahu and Ketu are positioned as subsublord of, and we have to also consider Jupiter to be subsublord of those very cusps. So Jupiter will also be subsublord of third cusp because third cusp subsublord is Rahu and Rahu represents Jupiter. Jupiter is subsublord of fifth cusp. Jupiter is subsublord of sixth cusp also because because Ketu is subsublord of sixth cusp and Ketu represents Jupiter. Then Jupiter is subsublord of ninth cusp as Rahu represents Jupiter. Then Jupiter becomes subsublord of 11th cusp also. So, and also Jupiter is virtual subsublord of 7th cusp because Jupiter has positional status and is positioned in 7th. So Jupiter is like subsublord of 7 cusps: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 here. Jupiter will also have influence in 12th because Rahu is positioned here and Rahu has positional status and Jupiter also has positional status. So Jupiter is an important planet in her chart and Jupiter is in the star of Dhanishta. And Jupiter and Moon both are in the nakshatra of Dhanishta and Moon is connected to mind. So too much influence of Dhanishta on her. Dhanishta signifies activeness, alertness, ambitiousness, arrogance, careful, cautious, courageous, decisive, forceful, firm will, vindictive, violent, fond of music, greed, and such traits can be noticed in Marilyn Monroe. Influence of this nakshatra can make a person dislike taking advices from others, and you may know that Marilyn Monroe lived her life on her own terms. Due to this nakshatra's influence, she was a good conversationalist and was able to put other people at ease quickly. Dhanishta is connected to abundance and prosperity, and Moon is connected to mind. This causes belief system to be highly influenced with prosperity. Moon in the star of this nakshatra can cause a person to take majority of decisions in accordance to abundance and prosperity. 7th cusp's rising nakshatra is Shravan. Capricorn is the sign and Moon is the star lord. So rising nakshatra happens to be Shravan and it's ruled by Moon. And Moon is positioned in 7th in Dhanishta, and this drove her to be in relationship with the wealthy people. Her obsession for wealth did not let her think logically if a man was truly loving to her or not. All she cared about was that her partner is prosperous and made sense to her. To be able to be in a relationship with a prosperous person, irrespective of the fact that he genuinely loves her or not. This attitude led many of her relationships to break. In Nadi astrology, Mars is connected to husband in a woman's horoscope. But in today's generation or in today's era, majority of astrologers consider Jupiter to be Karka of husband in a woman's horoscope. Nadi astrologers considered Mars, as India remained under Islamic rule for roughly 800 years and then British rule for roughly 200 years. So during this 1000 years of oppression, women abduction was quite common. Thus, most of the parents preferred their daughter to marry a powerful man that can protect their daughter from getting abducted, and as Mars is connected to power, thus Nadi astrologers believed that Mars is connected to husband, whereas in today's era power is not substantial. We have seen many people without use of force have done a lot good for society. For example, ex-US Commander-in-Chief Donald J. Trump was influential in repairing relationship amongst Middle Eastern countries and also with North Korea without use of power. So as in today's era, as wisdom can be more useful than power, majority of astrologers consider Jupiter to be Karka of husband, as Jupiter is connected to wisdom and wealth. In Marilyn Monroe's horoscope, Jupiter has position status and is positioned in 7th. Thus, here through Jupiter we can understand about a relationship. Jupiter also happens to be in the sign of Dhanishta and in the Rashi of Capricorn. Lord of Capricorn is Saturn, and Saturn is connected to darkness. This can bring a person in contact with dark side of life. Thus, one of a lover had links with mafia. Here, Jupiter is in the Rashi chart. Jupiter is in Aquarius, and in Bhav chart, Jupiter is in Capricorn. And Aquarius and Capricorn both are ruled by Saturn. So, this can cause her to be in love with a person that has a dark side, because Saturn is connected to darkness. So one of her lover had links with mafia. After Lagna Nakshatra and Moon Nakshatra, we move to Sun, as Sun is connected to soul. Sun is in the sign of Taurus and in the star of Moon. So Sun is in the nakshatra of Moon and lot of in the nakshatra of Moon and in the nakshatra of Rohini, and Lord of Rohini is Moon. Sun in the nakshatra of Rohini and Lord of Rohini is Moon. Out of all 27 nakshatras, Rohini was loved by Moon the most, as Moon felt most comfortable with Rohini, as Rohini is connected to enjoying material world also. Rohini is connected to arts, beauty and creativity, earthiness, femininity, stability, productivity, material security, acquisitiveness, refinement, accumulating, luxury loving, all types of amenities essential for a civilized living, indulgence, idealism in love, beauty and relationships. Marilyn Monroe liked enjoying material world and was an expert of erotic arts. Rohini is also connected to pale rose color, or translates to reddish one. Color red invokes liveliness, passion, warmth. People that have influence of Rohini can be smooth talkers with gentle seductive mannerism. They can be sensually alluring and indulgent at the same time. Mostly are plain materialists and sensualists, and due to such traits being present in Marilyn Monroe, many got attracted to her. Also, as Rohini is most materialistic amongst all nakshatras, she got attracted to men with wealth that I spoke earlier. Marilyn Monroe had a strange, untimely demise when she was running through Mars Bhukti. In her horoscope, Mars has positional status and is positioned in 8th. Mars has positional status and is positioned in 8th. In ancient astrology, Mars position in 8th is considered to cause untimely demise or violent demise. Mars is positioned in Purva Bhadrapada. Mars is in the nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapada, and Lord of Purva Bhadrapada is Jupiter. And Purva Bhadrapada denotes a funeral cot. Thus, Marilyn Monroe was found to be dead in her bed. Alternative symbol of Purva Bhadrapada is man with two faces. Thus, some people think that Marilyn Monroe died due to overdose of drugs, and some consider that she was murdered. Some think that she was murdered because Jupiter is in the star of Mars and Mars is in the star of Jupiter, and Jupiter in 7th and Mars in 8th. 7th is connected to spouse, 8th is connected to demise. So many speculate that one of her lover may be responsible for her death. Supreme ruling deity of this nakshatra is Rudra, fierce form of Lord Shankarji. This nakshatra carries destructive aspects of Lord Shankarji in same way as Ardra. This can cause death due to punishment for wrongdoing. So I hope I was able to provide you some understanding about Marilyn Monroe using nakshatras, and I hope you will use this technique to understand self or others. Thank you so much for making to this end. If you liked what I said, then please show it by giving a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I will upload more videos on such topics. Also, if time permits you, then please watch my other videos. Also, if you have any question or query or would want to understand your or your loved one's personality, then please feel free to connect with me with the information mentioned in the description box. I wish you have a wonderful day and stay safe.